guys, how's it going? Today Erin and I are out and about doing a couple of planting projects in our town. First one is here at Wellsprings. It's an assisted living facility. We're going to be planting a really long, narrow shade bed kind of in their portico driveway area. We're also going to be heading down to the Children's Relief Nursery to plant up their containers. We drove by the other night. They still have the evergreens in the center, so we're just going to put some colorful annuals around those evergreens. The fun thing about this place, you guys, we used to do piano recitals here when I was little, growing up. Every year we'd have our annual piano recital in their lobby, and I can see their piano through the front doors that I probably played on when I was little. And Erin and my first apartment kind of shares the same lawn as this place. If you look through here, the siding you can see belongs to a townhouse that Erin and I lived in right after we were married. Isn't that crazy, Erin? Feels like another life ago. We actually came earlier this week and we dropped off a load of cut flower arrangements, and we're going to be bringing them cut flower arrangements on a semi-regular basis as we have flowers ready in the cut flower garden. So it's really quite a fun deal. And they do have one resident here that I know of that loves to still garden, and he gets involved in all the flower beds around here, and he plants sunflowers and tomatoes in their courtyard. He trims their trees. So I think it's really fun. They said that he would really enjoy having this planted up, so he had something to come out here and kind of fiddle with. So this here is the flower bed, or planter box, I guess you could call it. Erin is messing with the water system. They had one here, but I'm not sure how old it is or if it still functions.
Yeah.
But we went ahead, Erin brought a new timer. We're just gonna get them set up with all new drip here. So we'll run, some poly tubing up in, just kind of how they did. And then we'll run some brown drip tubes throughout. Erin, we did not bring soil.
Nope.
We gotta go get it. Yep.
We need to unload the plants first, though.
Sure. Okay. I'm not even sure we would have been able to fit potting soil in there, even if we wanted to. Look at this. So front stuff is shade stuff for this planter. Back stuff, Superbells and Bidens, that's for the Children's Relief Nursery. Kind of like the drip tape connectors that tightens it onto, screws it into place. Nice. Yeah, so this right here, we're just gonna take all of this out. You know what? It might be kind of nice because I can size up how many plants I brought, and if I need to bring more, we can grab more if I need it too. Okay, so I'm going to unload what we can unload. I could set up, do you want me to set up the drip so we can get rid of all those supplies when we get home?
Yeah, we can do that.
We can run the drip.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead, unload the plants. We're going to set up the drip to this bed, and then that will clear out a lot of room in this truck so we can go back and get some soil. It turned out really pretty. Look at this. I did pack it pretty full, but I really wanted it to be kind of just really nice right from the gate. I mean, these things will grow and fill in. I mean, you guys know how these Coleus grow. We've got cherry brandy flanking a golden dreams. So I kind of repeated that pattern throughout, and then in between each one of those pattern repeats. I put a rose glow caladium. So that's kind of our backdrop. Now this planter is definitely designed to have the spillers all in front because this area is just, it's untraveled. You can only see it barely from the road, and it's so far away from the road and in such shade that you really wouldn't be able to see what's going on back here, so it'd be kind of a waste of plants. But right here, you know, where a lot of the traffic goes through, that's where we want it to be the prettiest. So in the front, to fill in and spill, I used a repeat of the Surefire white begonias just to bring a little bit of brightness. This is the Surefire cherry cordial begonia right here, the Dichondra silver falls, which I think is a beautiful contrast to this plant here. We've got the Medusa light green sweet potato vine just for a really interesting textural element. And then it just kind of repeats that throughout the whole deal. There is a Surefire white in here. It's getting kind of gobbled up. In fact, until it has a minute to catch up, I'm gonna pop a couple of these leaves off. There. I feel like that is just so pretty, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like when the Coleus is big and all of this stuff is trailing, or not all of it, but you know, the Dichondra and the sweet potato vine are spilling over the front. Now, if you take a look inside, you can see the brand new drip tube, and it is running right now. We've got it actually set to run for 3 hours because there isn't a hose set nearby. So we want it to fully saturate the soil in this bed. And then we've got it set to run every day, I think for 20 minutes. I don't know where Aaron went off to. How funny. He got the water system set up while I was working on the plants. Oh, there you are. You're like magic. How long do you have it set for every day? 20 minutes?
Well, no, right now I have it set for an hour because there's just the one line.
Oh, 1 hour every day.
1 hour every day, but we'll probably come back after a couple days once it's saturated and set it back to maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. You know, when you first plant plants, you don't want them to dry out.
No.
It's the worst time for them to dry out.
Right.
So.
And I did top up with the fresh soil, and then I used a bunch of slow release fertilizer on this thing. So they should have some good growth here pretty quick. Let me show you the new water system. So there's the faucet here. Aaron put this timer on with this little coupler that goes from hose thread to 1/2-inch poly, brought the poly down, elbow coupler, brought it over, another elbow coupler, brought it up, another elbow You like the elbow couplers today.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do when you can't like attach. Like,
yeah, it's true.
A hole into the
that is a very slick system, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lays really nicely. So it goes over here to another elbow, and that's where we went off of it with the brown drip tube, which got kind of buried in the planting process, which is fine. But yeah, there's just one line that goes down the middle of all these plants. And that's it for this project. So now we are gonna head to the Children's Relief Nursery and get their pots done. Yeah, you guys were just driving off. This is Aaron and my first place that we lived in. And that is our old landlord's truck.
It looks like their truck.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I remember trimming those roses. Oh, it's actually in a 55 plus community, but it's the only front door that faced out to a different street from the rest of the community, so they let us in. And we were like young 20s. It was the best.
We were super desperate to find a place that was clean, and I think like the whole 55 plus neighborhood thing appealed to us.
Yeah.
Because we wanted something quiet too. Mm-hmm. And so I remember I called the guy, and I was like, look, we are clean, we don't have any kids, we don't have any pets, we're going to be the best tenants you've ever had, we will pay on time, like, please rent to us. And so they did. They
even let us paint and everything, and they brought people in to see, like to tour the townhouse. All right, here we are, guys. There's just 4 pots. This is going to be a super fast project. Walk up here and show you. I think we put these evergreens in year before last, if I remember right. I'm thrilled they're doing as well as they are. I mean, these are west exposure, so we're kind of like midday right now, but they will be in full afternoon sun here very soon. And you can see that their drip system is working. That's great. So what I'm going to do is just pop some flowers around the base, and we'll just leave these colorful, sweet little flags in here, or pinwheels, I guess is what you call them. Oh, he's got the goods. So we've got Grape Punch Superbells right here. We've got the Biden's Goldilocks Rocks. And then we've got Pomegranate Punch Superbells and a Medusa light green sweet potato vine. I think that's gonna be a bright, kind of fun looking mix. I do think I'm gonna use my gloves for this one though too. I'm so happy I brought them today because that last planter, I knew it looked really dry when we came by and looked at it the other day. And I saw a nice layer of bark, like bark mulch in there. And I thought, ooh, that won't be very nice to claw around in. So typically I like to not wear gloves. Good to go. All right, here we go. And here they are all done. I actually think those little pinwheels kind of make the arrangement. They bring like some life to them, don't they? And I think these Superbells are just so bright and happy. And then that little pop of yellow in there with the bite-ins. I think this will be perfect. And they had already popped in a Superbells right here. We didn't even coordinate that. So a Superbells and a white alyssum. Looks really sweet. And then over here, same thing. Except in this one, they did some celosia and portulaca. Just lots of color, really nice. All right, so those two projects are done now. So we're gonna head home, and I'm hoping to get some cantaloupe seed in the ground. Back home now, and I'm ready to plant some Tuscany melons, which are an Italian heirloom, so delicious and sweet, and they're easy to grow. We were out at my parents' house the other night. My mom was mentioning how she needed to get hers planted, and I told her that I was also needing to come down to the garden center and grab some seed because I hadn't planted mine yet either, and she hooked me up with some of hers. So I got a nice little Ziploc baggie of some Tuscany cantaloupe seed right there. This has always been one of my parents' favorite varieties of melon to plant, and they are fairly easy. They don't seem to be bothered by squash bugs and things like that, and they also are easy to tell when they're ripe, as opposed to watermelon, which I kind of swore off growing melons the last 2 years because the 2 years prior to that I grew a lot of both of them, and the cantaloupes weren't a problem. But watermelons, I can grow nice looking watermelons, but knowing exactly when to pick them at the right moment is not my strong suit. I need some practice in that area. I did get some really great ones, but I also had some really sketch ones too. We have a lot of growers in our area, and so it's very easy to get a hold of very good watermelon either at the grocery store or at the farm stand. So I'm gonna let them do that this year, but we are gonna do some Tuscany. Now, most people in our area have already planted them like 3 weeks ago, but we have a super long growing season. These are an 80-day, and here we are at the first part of June. We'll have plenty of time to get these up and get a bunch of melons off of them. I'm gonna grow them up here in one of our raised beds. It actually worked out perfect. We had an early crop of spinach. I'm gonna harvest the rest of it right now. I grew American, and what's the other one? The American spinach, I will not probably grow that variety again. It bolted so fast at the first whiff of heat. The other one though, it's bolted, but it took a lot longer to do it. Yeah, Giant Noble. I don't even know why I grow greens other than the fact that it's kind of satisfying and they're a really pretty crop. And they are really good feed for my chickens, like good supplemental. Give them some nice good fresh greens, but that's basically it. We'll, on a very rare occasion, harvest greens out of our garden. So this bed is gonna be much better used by putting in 2 hills of the Tuscany melon. But we gotta get this out first. We'll go give it to the chickens. Thankfully, it's easy to pull. Now that I'm getting in here and kind of digging around, I do think I'm going to replace the drip in this bed while we're in here and there's nothing planted. I noticed that there was quite a bit of moisture on this side, but over here, it's a lot drier. There's moisture underneath though, so, you know, who knows. But I know I haven't replaced this in a couple seasons, so I think it's time. Are you comfortable, Russell? Look at them. It's as if they know. You guys know what I have for you, don't you? They're like, where are the mealworms? You're holding out on us. Oh, cheddar. Okay, so here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove all of the 1/4-inch drip, including this. We'll take this off so that we've got an open faucet there. I've got this adapter right here that will go on the end of the hose. And then this little piece right here will screw into this one. We do that. And then I'll attach my black poly to that. I might have to put some of that tape on the threads here. It might leak, I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. I usually use a different kind of fitting, but I don't have any. I can't find any. So I'm trying to make this work. What I think I will do is just swing one piece of the black poly through this bed and we'll just tap into it on opposite corners, because that's what I think I'm gonna do. This is a 3x4 and you're supposed to space these hills of melons about every 3 feet. So if I plant one, you know, here and then plant one over there, they'll be about the right distance apart, and then one can spread that way, one can spread back toward this way, and I think they'll be just fine, or vice versa. You know, we might do it on this corner or that corner. Either way, I'm also going to need to tap into that black poly and run a new drip line up into this container, which I've been needing to do that anyway. So I've got my 1/4 inch supplies out here as well. My goodness, let's see if we can get this to work. I've got one side ready, so you can see where I attached right there. I haven't turned it on yet, so we will do the moment of truth once I get everything all planted. But I decided to swoop it this way and then come this direction because it was less stress on this where everything joins up together. So it'll swoop this way. I'm going to put in my emitters here in a second over on that side. And then I've already done my emitters here. So I did one 1 gallon per hour and one 2 gallon per hour because I think that will be just the right amount of water. And it will be nice to not have drip going through this whole bed because it's unnecessary to water, you know, the other parts of this bed. We just need it around the roots. And then I tapped in with my 1/4 inch, brought it up into the pot, and now we've got proper drip up to this boxwood, which is so nice because it hasn't been proper since last spring. So now we're going to get our seeds, and we're going to go about 1/2 inch deep. Well, I did 5. You can do 3 to 5. It's typically what I do. And we're just going to cover them over with a little bit of soil. I'm going to do a little layer of land and sea as well around the whole area. Just helps. All right, that one's done. Now let's get this side finished. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. We do have a little bit of a leak right here, which means I probably need to put some tape on that fitting or on that on the threads. That should help it be a little bit tighter, but I think this is going to work really nicely. Look at that. And look at that. That's targeted watering. That's awesome. I love it. And it's working in the boxwood container. Yay! While I had the stuff out, I also replaced the drip in this container. When I first planted up this container, the drip was working as far as I could tell. But one day it just stopped working and I didn't realize it, and all the plants were just completely wilted down. So I ran in here with the hose and watered it down, and I've been hand watering it for the past 2 weeks because I haven't had the stuff out. You know, you think if you would have just taken a couple minutes to fix that, I wouldn't have had to drag a hose out to water it every day. So anyway, glad that that's done. And I'm super happy about this right here. I think these are 1/2 gallon an hour emitter, so 2.5 gallons rather than 3. Everything else in this space is doing really well. I mean, you can see our peas right here. These are Oregon sugar pod. We've already been picking some of these. They are delicious. Our broccoli is looking pretty good. You can see it's just starting to form up there. And really, oh my, oh, look at that. Oh, how did I miss that? That is gorgeous. Okay, now what else am I missing in here? Okay, the rest of them are kind of small-ish. Oh, that is so exciting. And these plants look pretty good for not having been sprayed but one time. Just this week, we sprayed with BT, and BT is Bacillus thuringiensis, which is a bacteria naturally found in the soil, and it just targets caterpillars. They have to ingest it in order for them to be taken care of, but it doesn't hurt pollinators. Like, it doesn't hurt things flying through the air, no honeybees, nothing like that. And so we usually wait. Some years I'll just let the plants get kind of eaten up as long as the produce looks good, the produce itself, and it's not, you know, hampering the ability of the plant to be productive. If it gets kind of bad-ish, then we'll bust out the BT, and that's about it in this space. Oh, I'm gonna harvest that here pretty quick. Carrots are looking good. I actually came through and thinned them. Like, look at that, all lined up neatly in a row. I don't know how they're not very big yet. Got some good looking onions. I did plant some beans that are coming up, and we've got tomatoes putting on growth and peppers. Got a couple of cucumbers. These are smaller plants, but They are loading up, absolutely loading up the bush cucumber is what these are. And the cabbage, again, minimally eaten on, but looking really good. I think I'm gonna harvest this one maybe tomorrow. We'll have that for dinner. We've got basil. I've got a tomato and peppers in this bed, and this drip is not functioning. You can even see we ran it for 1 minute just now to test it in that one bed. You can see this side is wet, this side is not. So this drip is needing to be replaced. And I did plant beans twice in these rows, just trying to get something to go, but it's not going to go if we don't have water to it. So it's kind of a need to fix situation. Garlic is just starting to dry down. We've got onions and more peas here. And we have this. Is that not the most spectacular looking climbing rose ever? I'm so proud of these Colette roses. We've got one on either side, and they are just beautiful. Beautiful. They smell amazing too. And you guys, that is it for today's project. Super glad to have those pots all potted up and done, looking good and colorful around town. And then it's nice to get the melons in the ground because I did not want to miss my window of opportunity. Now, the last thing I'm probably going to plant until later on in the summer, when I do kind of a fall harvest sort of situation, I will fix the drip and probably replant beans in this one little area. And then I've got to do my second crop of corn. You know, when I planted corn initially, I left another section the same size as the first section that I planted open so that I could do a successive planting of that, which I probably need to do this week. But my other corn is like probably even taller than that at this point. That way we'll have an extended harvest season for that. I typically don't do that. I usually just plant all my corn at the same time. And then we've got this huge, massive amount of corn, and we love to eat corn out of the garden. But we can't usually get through it all, which is fine. We can give it away, but it would be nice to have it incrementally so that we can enjoy it for a little longer. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.